Hey guys, let's talk about last night's episode of The Vampire Diaries, and it was the mid-season finale. And all in all, it was just okay. I mean, I've been on the fence with The Vampire Diaries for the last season and a half, and I don't know, I've lost a lot of my enthusiasm for the show. The things that I did enjoy in this episode was with Catherine. She wakes up and she's beside Stefan, and they had spent the night together, and she was all excited, and then all of a sudden she realizes that her hair is falling out, and so she's mortified. She runs under a blanket and tries to run out of the room, smashes into the wall. I mean, it was all really funny because, right now Catherine, not only is she transitioning from being a vampire to a human, now she's having to deal with turning and almost dying again. So she's aging really quickly. She can't really explain it. She's, a 500-year-old vampire, and her body's catching up to her. So, it's kind of sad watching the fact that, she thinks she's going to die, but, it is what it is. Her daughter comes to try to help her. And, they're having some nice little mother daughter moments, and she's asking, Matt to help train her and get her physically fit. And it's kind of funny because I just think like watching Catherine be human in all of this has been funny. And now watching her try to, stop the clock is even funnier. And her and Stefan have a few solid moments in the episode. But, she pretty much asks him straight up, like, will you ever look at me the way you looked at Elena? And, he kind of says no, but, he still grabs her hand and gives her a little bit of hope that, one day he might be able to look at her in a different way. And I'm kind of liking the storyline that this is going down. But at the end of the day, it's not enough to make me enjoy the entire episode. So Stefan is also involved with trying to find Elena in this episode, and of course he hunts down Aaron, and Damon and Stefan are all, threatening Professor West with killing Aaron if they don't get to Elena and blah, blah, blah. And of course, Enzo shows up in this episode again. And I mean, guys, I don't know. I think they're just trying to throw anything at this show right now to make it, seem life threatening for Damon and Stefan. And it's just really not. Like, the storyline about Damon, being tortured by this Augustine group, 50, 70 years ago is kind of boring. And now we're finding out that Elena's father, who was a doctor at the time, helped this Augustine group. And they had, like, I guess their crazy experimental lab in his office. And Elena is locked up there. And so she's starting to have these visions and memories of coming down the stairs and hearing torturous screams from in the room. And that was the experiment going on. And the father telling her that she shouldn't come down there because, it's not a place for young kids. And that he was going to be helping up this and saving the life of this young 7-year-old girl, and whose name was Megan. So, of course, we put all the pieces together. And this was the Megan who Elena was roommates with at university, and they killed her because she had some of this Augustine blood in her or she had vampire blood in her veins because they used the vampire blood to save her back when she was 7 years old. And so I guess that's why they used Enzo to kill her. I mean, I don't know. I just don't really care. Enzo gets released in this episode, but not before Professor West puts some serum in him so that he can, he's like a ticking time bomb. He only has a short window to get Damon, kill him, and then return back to the lair, I guess, so that they can continue doing experiments on him. And of course, the fight scene between him and Enzo, Stefan and Enzo, is kind of anticlimactic. We know he's not going to kill Enzo again, and we know Enzo's not going to kill Damon. And then they have this moment when they're like basically pressed up against one another, and I was like, this is kind of homoerotic right now because he's like, I loved you, you were my one friend, and Damon's like, what do you want me to do, tell you that I missed you, that I loved you, that I felt sorry, I don't, and da da da, and I don't now. And I was just like, I don't know, guys. And then we get to the end of the episode, and Damon basically breaks up with Elena because he's now tired of her defending him all the time. That we all know that Damon's this horrible human being, and he has no redemption left in him, and he's just going to continue to be a horrible human being, and he doesn't want to take Elena down this road with him. So he's now going to break up with her just so that she doesn't have to worry about him anymore, and he doesn't have to worry about her anymore. And I'm just like, really? We went through all this, you guys, dying to be together to now what? Elena's a vampire. Who the hell cares if she's defending you all the time? Like, she does horrible things too. I mean, it's just whatever, guys. I don't know. I just find that I'm really more bored with the show than anything else. I mean, they trotted Matt out in this episode. There was no Bonnie. There was no Jeremy in this episode. There were actually even no Caroline in this episode, which shocks me since it was a mid-season finale and we all know how much the show loves Caroline. So guys, that was it really. There was nothing more to this episode. You know, we finally figured out why Megan was killed. We know that Elena's dad is clearly not that great, but you know, he claims in his diaries that he was using vampire blood to save the lives of humans. So he's not all that bad, but you know, he was allowing torture to go on in his clinic. Stefan is still kind of wandering around in love with Elena, but having feelings for Catherine. Catherine has now decided she's going to go off with her daughter to find these followers, or no, the travelers, to help her get between realms or something. I don't, guys. Matt is now, oh, no, yeah, is it Matt who's holding on to this special knife so that when Catherine comes back and wants it, he has it. Guys, that's all I got. All right. I'll see you when the show returns. Have a great holiday. Bye.